Poker Tour. The biggest games, the greatest players, and the largest payouts on the planet. The WPT is a series of international high-stakes poker tournaments that can turn amateur players into millionaires and make professionals into superstars. With millions of dollars on the line, it's time for these 6 players to live the dream of fame, fortune, and the one thing money can't buy, a WPT title. Tonight on the World Poker Tour.
Stakes are sky high down south as the WPT brings you the Gulf Coast Poker Championship. And it all starts right now, so shuffle up and deal.
Hi everyone, welcome to the WPT. We're in Biloxi, Mississippi for the inaugural Gulf Coast Poker Championship. I'm Mike Sexton.
And I'm Vince Van Patten. And Mike, it is great to have a brand new stop on the WPT here in the South, especially at this gorgeous resort, the spectacular Beau Rivage known as Bellagio of the South.
Great final table tonight. We got some old school players as well as some who are very inexperienced poker players, so to speak. But the real story that's got everybody buzzing around here is about former WPT finalist Bill Edler. With 2 tables left, Bill was down to just 2 chips. He now has over $1 million at this final table. And Vince, if Bill goes on to win this thing, it'll be the largest comeback in the history of the WPT.
It is incredible. But we have 5 other players at the table that are very tough. I'm going to call them Revenge of the Southern Gambler because they're all from the South. They weeded out the big-time pros from across the country, and now they all want to take home the big bucks.
Well, who's going to be the first ever winner of the Gulf Coast Poker Championship?
We're at historic Biloxi, Mississippi. Let's go watch them gamble.
Well, it's a rare thing on the World Poker Tour when the amateur players at a final table outnumber the pros, but that is the case tonight. 4 amateurs, 2 pros fighting it out for this title. So here we go. The final table of the inaugural Gulf Coast Poker Championship about to get underway. We started 3 days ago with 256 players. We are down to our final 6. The winner tonight will take home nearly $800,000.
Yes, they will. Antes are going to be $4,000. Blinds are $15,000 and $30,000. The cards are being dealt. Action is going to be on the card dealer from South Carolina. Hank Sitton, he folds his hand.
Now around to Captain Tom Franklin. Captain's a longtime pro, veteran poker player. Said he was going to be the most aggressive player at this table. And indeed, it looks like it. He raised it up with a King-6 offsuit right here. Makes it $65,000 to go.
Now the Vegas pro, Bill Edler, trying to find his hand. He has a Queen-6. Won't play that.
Now over to John Davidson. John, a retired air traffic controller. He's on the button. He's in position. He's also got a little over $1 million in chips. And he's going to make the call. He is gambling here with a Jack-7.
David Robbins out, and Tim Frazen, the pizza guy, not going to play this. So we have two-way action between the captain, Tom Franklin, and the former air traffic controller, John Davidson.
Well, here comes a flop. Well, flop comes Queen, Jack-10. Captain Tom Franklin has flopped an open-end straight draw, and he is going to bet. Looks like $85,000.
That is right.
Raise.
Wow, John Davidson is going to raise with just second pair with that dangerous-looking flop out there.
200.
And remember, Tom Franklin raised it under the gun, but that doesn't slow John Davidson down.
No.
He pops it up, makes it $200,000 to go.
An additional $115,000. What is he thinking? Just does not believe the captain is that strong.
Yes, the captain was going around bragging he was going to be the most aggressive player at this table. I'm not so sure about that, the way I see John Davidson playing this pot.
Yeah, but the captain is going to stick around. He's made this call. So we got a good pot on hand number 1.
With 2 of the big chip leaders going at it here. Got 3 guys with just over $1 million at the table. These are 2 of them.
Here's the turn card.
The Riverboat Gamblers are in town here.
It's a 7. It's hit John Davidson 2
All in.
pair, and he says all in.
Yeah, Tom checks on the flop. John has moved all in here with 2 pair, and he is going to take this pot down.
So Captain Tom losing one of his bars right there, Vince.
John's wife Lila very excited after that hand.
John Davidson busted the captain, Tom Franklin, down to lieutenant, I can tell you.
John Davidson, he got into this tournament through a $540 satellite. Didn't have to put up the $10,000. And like we said, you know, he used to work in air traffic control. So he's used to planes flipping around, lots of pressure with that job. This is nothing compared to that.
Folks, it looks like you better not go anywhere tonight. This is going to be an action-oriented final table.
All right back down to the table. Once again, on the captain, Tom Franklin.
He's going to catch his breath a minute. Lays that hand down.
Bill Edler from Vegas. Tough professional player, folds a 10-6.
Now back to John Davidson. He looks down at ace-4 of hearts.
Raise.
If he can play jack-7 of hearts, surely he can play ace-4 of hearts when nobody's coming in front of him. And that's what he's doing. Raises it, makes it 70,000 to go.
David Robbins from Fortson, Georgia, not going to play. And now the pizza guy, Tim Frazen, in the small blind, has a junky 3-deuce.
That's a bad pepperoni hand. He lays it down.
Into the card dealer. Only one to beat here. Hank's sitting. But you know what? Hank's not going to stand for this. He's got king-queen, and he's getting chips out.
A raise.
He's going to raise it.
He is coming right over the top here. Re-raising John Davidson with king high here. Makes it 140,000 straight.
From Greenville, South Carolina. Sells cars for a living. Puts the glasses on. Back on John Davidson, and he is going to call it. So another nice pot brewing here.
There's almost 250,000 out there, so he's going to call 70,000 more. Getting the right price to do it.
These guys not afraid to mix it up tonight.
All right, we're going to see the flop. Here it comes. And it is a 10-6-5, helping neither player.
Action's going to be on Hank, and he is reaching for chips with just a king high. Going to bet 100,000 here. Now, John lays his hand down. And Vince, what can you say about this bold play by these amateurs? Riverboat gamblers galore in Biloxi tonight.
That is right.
Well, I can say I won one big pot on TV now.
Very, very solid by the card dealer. Hank sitting.
I'll tell you, Vince, he is feeling good right now. It's like he sold 2 used cars in the last hour.
They are playing fast at the Gulf Coast Poker Championship from Biloxi, Mississippi. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more action on the WPT.
I do feel extremely comfortable and confident. I am going to be the table captain, and I'm going to try and take charge right off the bat. I'll have no problem going out in 6 because I will gamble. I'm going for the title.
We play for big pots, small stakes, and the chance to say, read 'em and weep. For the weekends, the all-nighters, and the lunch hour. We play for the legends and for the unknowns who dream of winning it all. For the bad beats and the pocket kings we sometimes have the sense to fold. We play at FullTiltPoker.com.
I've always been told that there are only 3 groups of people sitting at a final table. Those that watch things happen, those that make things happen, and those that wonder what the heck just happened. I want to start out in Group 1, ease my way into Group 2, and try my best to stay out of Group 3.
Welcome back to the Gulf Coast Poker Classic from Biloxi, Mississippi, where 6 players remain.
We're at the beautiful Beau Rivage Casino, and certainly the South well represented at this final table. 5 players from the South here, from Mississippi, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and Texas. 1 lone pro player from Las Vegas, Nevada.
And the chip leader at this time, John Davidson, the former air traffic controller, with close to 1.2 million. Actions on him.
Sure would like my favorite hand here.
John Davidson looks down at a king 3, won't play that.
To David Robbins. He has picked up 2 aces, the best hand possible.
Favorite hand is ace-ace.
Tim's asking for aces.
Poker gods must be a little confused there, since David Robbins is the one with the weapons of mass destruction. And he is going to raise it up to 90,000.
90,000.
And now, Tim Frazen right behind him with Jack 7.
10 folds.
And he goes out.
And Hank's right behind me.
Now the card dealer won't play that. It's around to the captain, Tom.
Tom Franklin has picked up 2 queens here. A big hand. He is going to raise it, makes it 200,000 to go.
Yes, he does. This could be big trouble for him here.
Well, you're not kidding. The captain could spring a leak in his boat, that's for sure.
Now Bill Edler with 6-4 won't play that. So back around to the man with the aces. David Robbins, he got the biggest hand in poker before the flop.
Well, just 2 monster hands here. Let's see what David's going to do with the aces now. He is just going to call here, Vince. Does not come over the top of Tom Franklin here. So there's no way Tom's going to put him on aces or kings in this spot.
So a pot with nearly 500,000 in it right now.
Huge pot brewing. Here's the flop. 8-5-5.
Well, this flop could spell doom for Tom Franklin. And I say that because there's no way he's going to get away from queens with this flop.
Uh-oh. Could be walking the plank here. He's going to bet it.
Well, Vince, you can't blame him for betting here. You have to think 2 queens are the best hand, the way this hand's been played.
David Robbins taking his time. Gonna milk this like a Holstein. Act it out a little bit.
He's only got about 560,000 left. The bet's 210,000 to him.
Oh, look at his wife, Angel, in the audience, saying prayers, sweating her man.
Little does she know he's got 2 aces and Tom's got 2 queens. There you see David. He's just wondering, just call again and hopes Tom keeps firing at the pot, or just go ahead and move all in right now.
Well, this could be a tremendous debacle here for the captain. He could be walking the plank real soon. David Robbins now slow playing this, doing a little acting job. And the more time that David is taking, the more the captain feels secure. Little does he know the bomb that's across the table from him.
And David has slightly more chips than Tom Franklin. So, Vince, it's possible the chip leader could be out in 2 deals here that he's played.
That is true. And look at Angel. She is talking to herself. She's got more emotions than Sybil. David Robbins won't make his decision quick. He's going to torture the captain.
He's also torturing his wife, Angel.
Time to go home, Dave.
Oh, man. The captain's talking to him.
That's what I'm thinking.
You gotta do what you gotta do, big boy.
I'm all in.
He's all in.
Say all in. I gotta call.
Well, you got to do what you got to do. He's all in, and Tom is called. Tom Franklin not.
Nice hand.
He suspected a trap might have been there, but just no way you can get away from that hand the way it was played. Just tough luck for Tom Franklin that he ran into 2 aces, number 1. But give David Robbins a lot of credit for not re-raising pre-flop.
Well, Angel's having a breakdown. She cannot believe it. Unbelievable drama to happen this fast in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Oh, Vince, this is just terrific for them. They've got 2 children. You know this tournament would mean a lot to them.
But the captain is not out. A couple queens could pop up.
Well, another 355,000, which is a few more chips than Tom has. So he gets up.
Good job.
Very good sport, saying good job, but it's not over yet.
Well, he's a gentleman. I'll tell you something. This guy, we've been playing poker and cash games with him for years. He is a veteran. He is considered one of the best in the game today.
Well, probably the most experienced player at this table. Tom Franklin loves rock and roll, but he better do a little rock and rolling here on the turn of the river, or he's going to be down in the lounge enjoying the music.
Angel, distraught with excitement, rooting her man on. Here comes the turn.
Well, the king of diamonds comes off. The crowd moans because it was a paint card, and we are down to the river.
You want to see more paint?
No.
Will it be the man from Fort St. George, David Robbins, to take out the captain, the former chip leader?
Well over a 90% favorite to win this pot.
We are 1 card to come. What's it going to be?
Well, it's a 10. So that's going to do it for Captain Tom Franklin. The veteran from Gulfport, Mississippi, is out in 6th place.
That is right. The captain has been court-martialed. Shocking how fast that happened.
David Robbins busting the captain back down to private just that quick.
But he's going to pick up $120,000 and some nice parting gifts, of course.
That's tough. That's 6-handed.
I told you were my pick to win this.
I don't
I
know
told
about
you the
that.
whole time.
Oh, that was great. Well played, man. Well played.
He came to this final table as chip leader, and just that quick, wham, bam, out in 6th place.
Yeah, sorry I couldn't last longer for you guys.
And just like that, in the Gulf Coast Poker Championship, we are down to 5 players.
From Biloxi, Mississippi, the Gulf Coast Poker Championship continues. Stay tuned for more on the World Poker Tour.
I don't even really bet chips. That's 200 pizzas I bet. It's all pizza mine.
My hand's not a supreme right now, but it's at least a 6-topping pizza.
So I don't get scared if someone comes over the top with a large bet because it's just a lot of pizzas. First place isn't a lot of money. It's about 75,000 pizzas if you had a coupon.
Welcome back to the Beau Rivage, where one player will be named the first ever WPT Gulf Coast Poker Champion. Let's waste no time and get back inside.
Well, the chip leader at this time is David Robbins with about 1.6. John Davidson with about 1.2. Hank sitting on 994. Bill Edler, the Vegas pro, with about $1 million. And short stack is the pizza man, Tim Frazier, 438. Let's go down to the table. It's going to be on David Robbins.
He's going to lay his hand down and stack some chips up.
All right, around to the pizza guy, Tim Frazier. He's got a 9, 8 of clubs.
It's my first bet.
And he's going to move it up with a raise.
That makes it 95,000 to go.
Card dealer goes out. Now it's around to the Vegas guy, Bill Edler. Oh, and Mike, look at this. It's been passed around again. He's got the aces this time.
Incredible back-to-back aces here.
What do you got left, brother?
Not much. Enough probably to be pot committed, but You probably got a couple overs. It'll be a race.
Now he's asking Tim Frazen how much you got left.
But I need to double up, so I'm not going to ask you not to call.
We saw David Roberts on the last hand not re-raise with aces, played it slow, but this is a different situation.
Yeah, about 4 something total.
There's the very cagey professional from Vegas. Is he going to pump it up?
Well, Vance, there's 2 reasons to raise it here. Number 1, the guy that raised it on the short stack, you figure he's going to play the pot anyway if you raise it. But 2, if you just limp in and call, the big blind may come in. Now you got to beat 2 people with the ace, which is tougher to do. Wow. And Bill does make the raise here, makes it $240,000 to go.
Action on John Davidson now, who looks down at a 3 deuce of diamonds. Can't expect him to play that. Goes out.
Now back around to Tim Frazen. Well, the pizza guy.
So what does that make it to me?
Kind of feel like he's been in the oven a little long right now.
You bet half my stack?
Because his temperature is rising, and he lays this hand down. Had what we call a drawing hand. You just hate to call re-raiser with those kind of hands, especially when you're on the short stack. So Tim abandons ship, and Bill Edler picks up the pot. And Vince, he might set the all-time record on the World Poker Tour in terms of making a comeback. 2 chips he had with 2 tables left. Here he is with over $1 million in chips now.
You talk about destiny. That is what it's all about. I mean, this is the most miraculous comeback we've ever seen on the World Poker Tour.
Well, there you see Gavin Smith, former WPT Player of the Year, rooting for his buddy Bill Edler to take down his first WPT title. Let me add that Gavin's father would have been 75 years old today. He passed away a few years back, but both of these guys said they were dedicating this final table to the memory of Gavin's father in case one of them got here tonight.
Will I make it to the next button?
Well, Vince, we know poker players are superstitious. They have lucky charms.
My reply is no. It looks like I'm down to 4 hands.
This Tim Frazen carries an 8-ball around with him. What do you think of that?
He's a nutcase.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to be delivering pizzas tomorrow, I think.
Action is going to be on John Davidson. He quickly folds. David Robbins out. And now it's on the pizza guy with the 8-ball, and he's going to raise all in with his ace-10 of spades.
Didn't even consult the 8-ball, just moved all in.
Hank Sitton's gone out.
The pizza man is shoving it in the oven right here.
Bill Edler not going to play, so the pizza man with the 8-ball is going to take down this pot.
All right, he puts the 8-ball in the corner pocket that hand anyway. Takes down the pot. Tim from Dallas, Texas. Quite a chatty Cathy at the table.
You might say his dough is rising right now.
Oh, boy. Yes, sirree. What a life. I mean, last week your head's in a pizza oven, and now you're going after a title on the WPT. That's pretty good.
When I play, I like to be the talker.
I'm not a poker player. I just play cards.
That's what I'm going to tell you.
He likes to talk.
He loves to talk.
I can talk about anything. I can talk about pizza. I can talk about cards. You name it, I can talk about it.
What's your favorite hand? 9 deuce, 10 deuce. I'm like, my favorite hand is ace-ace. I can beat these guys.
He's probably got the most interesting personality of the 6 of us.
My decision-making process at the table sometimes comes down to my magic 8-ball. If I'm not sure what to do, I just shake the 8-ball up basket, and whatever it says is what I really go by.
Did I call? We're going to go with the 8-ball.
This isn't my first magic 8-ball. The first ones didn't lead me in the right path. This one's been very good. So far, this tournament has gotten 3 out of 4. Whatever the 8-ball says is what I go by. Really.
Yeah, I call.
So Tim Frazen picking up the blinds and antes there by moving all in. Tim, 37 years old from Dallas, Texas, got in this tournament by winning a $1,000 satellite.
And the battle for $800,000 goes on. 5 players remain. Action's going to the card dealer, Hank Sitton. Hank with a 10-6 this time, folds his hand.
Over to the Las Vegas tournament specialist, Bill Edler. Bill looks down at an 8-deuce, throws it away.
And now it's around to the button, John Davidson. He has $1.2 million in front of him. He's got a king deuce this time.
Ground scraper right here, John. You can let this one go. Both of you guys. I need a ground scraper. I need to collect this stuff up.
You need to collect it up?
Yes, sir.
You really do?
I haven't looked yet. I do. I'm short stack. Why you want to play four-handed with these pros?
Okay, John is yapping it up with the pizza man.
I haven't looked at my hand yet, but I mean, if I have aces, I hope I'm not talking myself into a ground scraper.
Go back to that 8-ball, maybe. John's thinking about raising this, it appears, but no.
What's going on, neighbor?
Oh, and look at this, Vince.
All yesterday.
David Robbins has picked up another giant hand. He's got 2 kings this time and just limps in and makes the call.
Oh, he's going to try to set a little trap here.
Well, his slow play worked wonders a minute ago against Tom Franklin. Let's see if it'll work against Tim Frazen.
Tim Frazen with an 8-7. Here comes the flop.
Flop is Jack, 6-3, all different suits. David checks.
But right behind him, Tim Frazen, Mr. Pizza, has checked behind him. Didn't fall into the trap there. But now a 10 on the turn.
Well, David checks.
Come on, if you got a jack, you're good.
Call.
Oh, you tricked me. Why you slow playing me like that? I got outs.
And here Tim moves all in and is quickly called. So David Robbins threw the line in the water, and again his opponent took the bait. This time it's Tim Frazier, and he's going to have to catch a 9 to make a gut shot straight to stay alive in this tournament.
Sneaky son of a gun, isn't he? Doesn't raise me, gets me in there. Anybody have a 9?
No doubt about it. The pizza man's roof of his mouth totally burned right here.
Oh, I don't think so.
John, you have a 9 there?
I had a king.
You got a 9? I think there's 4 9s in the deck.
Oh, even the 8-ball can't help him now.
Well, slow playing. The play of the night so far at this final table, if indeed the 2 kings stand up here.
Angel, David Robbins' wife, saying numerous prayers on the sideline.
Do it real slow. I want to enjoy my time here for 1 more second.
Will the pizza man get his pepperoni? And he does not.
Well, 6 of hearts comes off. So chalk another pot and another victim up to slow play by David Robbins. Wow.
Well, the pizza has finally gone cold here for Tim Frazier, the pizza man, out in 5th place, going to take home $144,000.
I should have asked the 8-ball. It didn't happen.
And he says he should have asked the 8-ball.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. A lot of therapy for him, perhaps.
Tim Frazier, the pizza man from Dallas, Texas, goes out in 5th place, Vince. He burned himself on that last move.
He did. He has great personality, a good player. Tim Frazier with $144,000 going up to talk to Layla.
Thanks, guys. Tim, I know your 8-ball served you pretty well up until now.
I should have used it now. I wish I had used it. I may not have made that play. David slow played. He never pulled that trick yesterday. He limped in a lot, and I made bets yesterday, and he laid him down.
And you didn't use your 8-ball. Can we see it, by the way?
There it is. It told me I wouldn't make it through that button. It was absolutely 100% correct.
We have 4 players remaining at the Gulf Coast Poker Championship from Biloxi, Mississippi. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more action from the WPT.
Are you good enough to play on the World Poker Tour? Find out right now online at WPT on GSN.com.
When you come to the Beau Rivage, Southern hospitality is #1. One of the biggest reasons to come here is how beautiful this area is. Biloxi is such a pretty area. We're out on the Gulf of Mexico. It's beautiful. We take the extra time to make sure that the player's comfortable. We have the most comfortable and spacious poker room in Mississippi. We're very excited that we actually got the opportunity to be part of the World Poker Tour. It has taken our poker room and our property to a new level.
Welcome back to the Gulf Coast Poker Championships. We are down to 4 players.
We're at the beautiful Beau Rivage Casino. And Vince, this is the mini version of Bellagio in Las Vegas. Just a fantastic property. I know you love it here.
Oh, you're right. It is absolutely gorgeous. We are having a great time. And right now, 4 players running after that $800,000 and the WPT title. Also, of course, the guaranteed seat at our championship at the end of the season. So much at stake. 4 players remain. Action's going to be on the Vegas pro Bill Edler.
That's great poker, man.
You are too kind.
He's got a queen jack this time.
Bill, a very likable guy out here on the tour. Well respected as a player, both on and off the table.
Ochenta.
Bill's going to open up his game with the raise, making it $80,000 to go. Into John Davidson. 6 deuce of clubs. Won't play that. David Robbins out.
Well, Hank Sitton picks up a reasonable hand. Ace-9 of clubs in the big blind. He puts in $50,000 more. So 2-way action. Hank with the ace-9, Bill with the queen-jack. Flop is 6-5-3. No help to either player. Hank checks.
And now Bill Edler. Nothing hitting there, but will he make the continuation bet? It looks like it. Yes, he's going to stick $110,000 out there.
Hank Sitton, the amateur from South Carolina, is getting out some raisin chips.
$250 to go.
He's going to make it $250,000 to go here with the ace high.
Card dealer changing the sticker price there. Bill has to lay down his hand. What a nice raise by him.
You got to take your hat off to this card dealer, Vince. It's the second time we've seen him make some great raises here at this final table to pick up pots. Even though he's been playing poker for about 40 years, he says he just got serious about the game a short while back. He actually attended a WPT boot camp.
That is good stuff. That is good old boy poker down in the South. He takes the pot as his wife, Karen, looks on. Also has his 2 daughters here, Coley and Marie.
Here he is at a final table. 4 players left fighting it out for this title.
I think being an automobile dealer has helped me playing live poker because you do have to read people. Understanding body tells at this level is actually more important because body language is unconscious. It's very hard to disguise. I've already picked up a few tells on some of the players that I'll be playing with today.
It's a street smart kind of job when you're a card dealer, so you got to have that in poker. Back on him, he's got a king-4 this time, and he goes out. Now the tough Vegas pro Bill Edler looking down at he's having a hard time looking down at cards these days. 7-5.
I'll tell you one thing, he looks at him where nobody else can see him.
John Davidson, battle of the blinds. Chunky 8 deuce.
Just about a bad hand as you can start with, but John Davis is going to make the call anyway. And quickly right behind him, David Robbins says, give us a flop here with the jack deuce. So 2 junk hands. Flop comes queen, 9-4, 2 spades, no help to either player.
Action's on John.
He's going to check.
Now David Robbins, tough player from Georgia, used to aces and kings. This time with just jack deuce.
Looks like he's just going to try to pinch the pot.
You know, he checks when he has aces or kings, but he's going to bet when he has a junk hand, jack deuce, and he's done so. $80,000.
Going to re-raise. 180.
Great raise by John Davidson here. Just senses his opponent doesn't have much.
I raise.
Comes right over the top for 100,000 more.
But what is this? David Robbins says re-raise.
This is unbelievable, folks.
He's going to make it 380. That's an additional 200,000.
Well, folks, you are watching a testosterone contest down south right now. You are watching poker at the highest level here. John Davidson made a great play to try to win that pot.
Gonna re-raise.
But an even better play was made by David Robbins to re-raise him yet again.
Take it.
Incredible action here.
Very impressive by the man from Georgia, David Robbins, stealing that pot. I'm going to have to call him David the Robber Robbins. 4 players remain at the Gulf Coast Poker Championship, and we'll come back with more action in just a moment.
From Biloxi, Mississippi, the Gulf Coast Poker Championship continues. Stay tuned for more on the WPT, y'all.
We are back at the Gulf Coast Poker Championship in Biloxi, Mississippi, where 4 players remain, and the antes are going up. $5,000. Blinds are going to be $20,000 and $40,000.
And Vince, the Southern guys doing very well in this tournament here. Of course, the game invented in Texas is called No Limit Texas Hold'em, and I love the way the guys down south play poker, Vince.
Some of the very best, and we are seeing it here tonight. Let's go down to the table. Action's going to be on the Vegas guy, Bill Edler, and he has picked up a big hand, ace-queen.
Pretty good hand in a 4-handed poker game, that's for sure. He makes it 120,000 to go.
Into John Davidson, the former air traffic controller. He's got a pair of deuces.
Go.
And he's going to call it. David the Robber Robbins out. And it's around to Mr. Sitton, who has also got a big hand, ace-king, big slick.
Well, he might not be sitting still with this hand. Vince, this guy used to own a comedy club, but he's not joking with this hand here. Let's see what he's going to do with ace-king.
A raise.
He is going to raise it.
500,000.
He's going to make it $500,000 to go here.
And that is a stiff raise, 380,000 with big slick. And what a problem now for Bill Edler. He's got the notorious ace-queen trouble hand, but this is a significant raise. Can he escape?
Well, Bill's a very savvy pro player, but he also understands that it's easier to make a raise out of the big blind like that when someone limps in behind the first raiser, because you don't assume the guy that limped in has got that strong of a hand. So many times a guy will make a re-raise in this spot, hoping when the first guy goes out, the second guy go out as well.
I'm going to have to put my shades on for this one, guys. Sorry. Makes me look meaner.
Bill Edler out of Vegas.
Well, tough decision here. Is he going to put Hank on a real hand, or does he think he's just making a move? We've seen him make several moves at this final table. This time, however, he's not. He's got a real hand.
Would you please pull in the 120s?
Yeah, Bill says pull in the 120s. It's going to cost him another 380 to make the call here. And recognize that Hank Sitton has got more chips than he does. And Hank's virtually going to be pot committed here, Vince. He only raised at 380,000, but he's got half his stack out there. If you're sitting in Bill Edler's seat, you have to understand right now that your opponent is going to be pot committed here, in case you want to come back over the top of him. Oh, Gavin Smith looks like he's got a little migraine pulling for his buddy here.
Excuse me, gentlemen, what's that?
This is the professional poker veteran at this table. He knows he's got a great shot to win this title against this caliber competition.
I apologize, gentlemen. I promise. One minute here.
This is what big-time poker is all about, making correct decisions at crucial times.
All right. Against my better judgment, which never has served me well.
Well, he is going to lay this hand down, and a great laydown. John Davidson going out with the 2 deuces as well. So Hank Sitton, the former WPT boot camp attendee, takes down that pot with a nice re-raise.
I tell you, I think it was the amount. That was a very stiff re-raise. I think 100,000 less. Bill is going to stick around. It's very costly. You know you're all in. You're totally committed. Ace, queen. Nice laydown. And the card dealer racking up more chips.
He rolled back the miles on that hand. Takes down that pot.
One cool customer this Hank Sitton is from Greenville, South Carolina. The card dealer doing quite well. Let's go back down to the table. It's going to be on Bill Edler, who just took the last hit.
We're seeing some good poker here tonight, that's for sure.
Bill's got a 9-8 offsuit. He caps his cards.
One of 5.
Well, it looks like he's going to try to get some of those chips back he lost in the last pot. He's going to raise it here with the 9 high. Makes it 105,000 to go.
Into John Davidson with the button. And look at this. He's got a wired pair of jacks. Beautiful hand. Nice, too, when you get a raise right before.
But he's going over the top for all of it right here.
Oh, boy.
He's putting it all out there right now. 435,000.
Now it's on the robber, David Robbins. He has picked up another big hand, pair of queens.
He's got 2 queens. The pot's been raised and re-raised in front of him, however.
Well, we've seen him tonight with aces. We've seen him with kings. We've seen him with queens. Now he won with the aces and the kings.
Well, he's got the big stack right now. But part of his problem is that Bill Edler's in this pot also, and he was the initial raiser. But hard to believe a guy could get away from 2 queens in a 4-handed poker game.
Well, I don't think he's thinking that at all. I think he's thinking about coming over the top here or not.
You got less than that, right? You got less?
Less than that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. How much do you have?
I started with 690, I believe, or 695.
I'm all in.
He's finally made his decision. He has gone over the top all in. Card dealer goes out and it's back on Bill, who was just messing around anyhow.
So it's 2 queens versus 2 jacks. David Robbins took one man out with 2 aces, another out with 2 kings, and it looks like he could take a third out here with 2 queens.
Yeah, David the robber is the hitman tonight, knocking out 2 players. He turns over his cards. Will it be 3 in a row?
As the cards lie, he's about a 4-1 favorite to win this pot and eliminate John Davidson from this tournament. John from Pensacola Beach, Florida, is going to need a lot of help to stay alive here.
Former air traffic controller in a bit of a maze. Here we go with the first 3.
Oh, there you go. A jack right on the flop for John Davidson. Wow.
Oh, man, the former air traffic controller flies again with that flop. 3 of a kind.
David's starting to count out the chips that he owes. Sits down very calmly on the outside, but on the inside, you know he's sick. Of course, it's not over. He can catch a queen here and win this pot.
Here comes the turn card.
An 8 comes up. So we are down to the river card. So for David Robbins to win this pot, he must catch a lucky lady, a queen on the river. Otherwise, John Davidson's going to double up.
Got a 2-outer to eliminate another man, but he won't get that.
Well, 9 of hearts. So John Davidson knows how lucky he was to stay alive there. He goes over to his wife, Lila, and says, honey, we're still in this thing. You got to love it.
Yeah, well done by John Davidson, sucking out there in a huge way.
You know, I'll tell you what's interesting about John Davidson to me is the most money he's ever won at poker was in a bad beat jackpot.
Well, the air traffic controller, John Davidson's going to fly again. We still got 4 here in Biloxi, and we're coming back with more action in just a moment.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Layla Kaylee, and we are here in Biloxi, Mississippi at the Beau Rivage, where it has been an amazing evening. Let's waste no time and get back in on the action.
I'm Vince Van Patten with Mike Sexton, and they're gambling by the Gulf. We have 4 players remaining, and the chip leader at this point is David the Robber Robbins from Georgia with about $2.2 million. Second chip position is the card dealer Hank Sitton, $1.4 million. John Davidson, the former air traffic controller, with about $955, and the short stack at this point is Bill Edler with $635.
3 amateurs from the South and 1 Las Vegas pro, all fighting it out for the nearly $800,000 first place prize.
The action's going to be on John Davidson. He looks down at a Jack-9 offsuit. Opts to lay it down.
Now it's on David Robbins with the button. He's got a King-Jack.
I'm all right.
And he's pretty excited about it. He's going to raise, moving it up to $165,000 to go. Okay, Hank sitting, going out with a queen jack. And right behind him, the short stack Bill Edler has a wired pair of sevens.
Pretty nice hand out of the big blind. The question is, how do you play it? Down the button, raised it. You've got a middle pair. You can see what he's doing. He's sort of counting up. Does he have enough chips just to raise this, or should he just go all in right now if he's going to play this pot?
Well, he's got an interesting decision with the mid pair.
Well, he's going to raise it,
Yes,
Vince.
he is.
He's going to make it 400,000 straight here.
He didn't go all in. It's a $235,000 raise, and now it's back on the robber, David Robbins.
Well, Vince, I can't imagine he's just going to call it here. I mean, there would be a lot of money out in the pot. You just think he'd just go ahead and put Bill all in if he's going to play this pot. Just has a king jack, remember. But also remember, he just got burned in the last pot. They took 2 queens and lost to 2 jacks.
I think you think I'm making a play or something. Maybe you got a big hand. You didn't move all in. 1, 3, 4, 5.
As his wife, Angel, sweats him out.
6, roughly. All right.
He's just going to set Bill Edler all in here.
You putting me all in? I'm all in.
Bill's going to quickly call him. Bill Edler with the 2 sevens. David Robbins with the king jack.
Thought you had 2 unders or was trying
The
to
2
buy.
over cards versus the under pair, but as the cards lie, you have to say David Robbins made the right call there.
But part of David's problem is that the other 2 players at the table, John Davidson and Hank Sitton, both had a jack in their hand. So some of the outs that David could use to win this pot are gone. That makes Bill Edler a favorite to win this pot.
Well, you're right about that, but David Robbins has knocked out 2 of the other players at the table tonight. Will it be 3? 5 cards to come, and here comes the flop.
7 a diamond.
Will the 2 walking sticks hold up?
Oh! He has flopped 3 sevens. It is over.
That's why he didn't want to go all in. He knew it was coming. Well done, Bill.
Wow, he hit the slot machine on the flop, the 3 sevens.
There's no 2 cards that David can catch to win this pot. So in back-to-back pots, David Robbins has doubled up first John Davidson and now Bill Edler.
And Vince, right now, all 4 players have over $1 million in chips. So this is about as close as you're going to get with 4 players left in a tournament.
All right, back to the table. It's going to be on John Davidson. He quickly folds an ace-deuce.
Bring W up again.
David Robbins with the button. A little disappointed after the last couple hands. He has ace-9 this time. He's going to try to redeem himself with a raise.
Yeah, going to make it 140,000 to go here. Hank Sitton going out.
And now it's on Bill Edler in the big blind, and he's got a pippy there. He's got an ace-10 over the ace-9.
Now, because of the WPT cam, we can see he's got the best hand, but Vince, another tough decision for Bill Edler here. He's up against the chip leader in this pot. How much do you want to risk with an ace-10 in this situation?
Well, it's a pretty strong hand, and you got a guy that raised on the button. And usually that's the place where they're going to try to push it around when you don't have a hand. Bill knows that, and now he's thinking to himself, do I play this slow? I feel pretty good about my hand, or do I go in for the raise?
Well, Vince, he also knows that every time he's seen David Robbins get his money in the pot, he's got aces, kings, queens.
Yeah, but we saw him rob a few hands before, too. He can steal pots. This time he has a pretty good hand, and Bill's in a great place if he does the right thing.
This is the guy doubled up through just a moment ago. Does he want to clash with him yet again?
Well, Bill Edler taking his time here.
I make it $1 million.
But he's going to make it $1 million straight.
And David Robbins quickly folding his hand.
He knew he was going to have to play for a lot of chips if he played that pot. Just opted to get away from it. And right now, David Robbins trying to say, what's happened here? Things were going so well for me when I busted those first 2 guys. But now I feel like water going down the drain here.
That is right. The Vegas pro taking control here all of a sudden. He's in good position. Stay tuned for excellent players remain here at the Gulf Coast Poker Championship. We're coming back with more action on the WPT.
I'm kind of a sick gambler. I certainly will be gambling. Short-handed poker is messy. It's not for the faint of heart. I enjoy it.
Welcome back to the final table. table of the Gulf Coast Poker Championship. Hey guys, I'm Layla Cayley, and here's how the race to this WPT final table has gone so far. The battle in Biloxi started off with a bang.
You gotta do what you gotta do, big boy.
As the chip leader made the fastest exit in WPT history. Next, David the Robber Robbins got sneaky with his Cowboys.
Why are you slow playing me like that?
And burned the pizza guy to a crisp. Now 3 tough amateurs with plenty of gamble, 1 talented Vegas pro on a record run, fight it out to be the last man standing and the first winner of the inaugural Gulf Coast Poker Championship. And now back to 2 guys who have a lot of Southern hospitality of their own, Mike Sexton and Vince Van Patten.
Welcome back to the Gulf Coast Poker Championship from Biloxi, Mississippi. 4 players remain, going after close to $800,000 for our champion, and we are down to 4 players.
Well, we've got 1 pro and 3 amateurs fighting it out for nearly an $800,000 first place prize and a coveted WPT title. Bill Edler, the Las Vegas pro, our current chip leader with about $1.5 million in chips.
Action's going to be on John Radar Davidson, former air traffic controller. What a player this guy is. Now he has a 9-7 of clubs and is going to raise with it.
I work for a living. Davidson indicates a raise, and he has raised top 2.
Play for 60. 80 rather, I'm sorry.
Well, he is going to make it 80,000 to go.
Well, that's the minimum raise. He's made it twice the size of the big blind.
And now David Robbins. David's got an 8-5 of clubs. And he's going to speculate, it looks like.
He makes this call. It's only because there's a steam factor involved of the pots he's lost lately. He's lost the last 3 pots he's played, doubling up 2 players. He's looking to get back those chips. He's going to gamble a little now.
Now Hank's sitting in the small blind with an ace-10. He's made the call.
And now Bill Edler with a king-jack has a chance to call for 40,000 here.
Could be a family pot.
Well, there's 300,000 in the pot. I'd be shocked if he didn't call this. I guess he's the chip leader here. It's only 40,000 more to make this call now.
I announce I am not raising.
I don't see how you could fold this for 40,000 with all that money out there.
Not even the plays to. All right. Good luck, gentlemen.
But he is going to get out of the way.
Well, a surprising laydown, at least in my eyes, by Bill Edler here. But let's see what happens. The 3 amateurs left fighting it out for this pot. Let's have the flop. Well, flop comes king, queen 9 with 2 spades. Well, Hank quickly checks his ace-10, the gut shot straight draw. John Davidson has flopped bottom pair. He's got 2 9s here, and he's reaching for chips. He's going to bet 80,000.
David Robbins going out.
Well, that's a pretty cheap bet in terms of the size of the pot. You just wonder if Hank Sitton's going to gamble here. There's 380,000 out there. Cost him 80,000 to make the call. Recognize he's only got a gut shot straight draw. But he is going to gamble and take a card off here.
So 2-way pot now. Got 9s versus an inside straight draw. Here comes the turn.
Oh, the joker pops off for John Davidson there. He now has 3 9s.
How much you got left?
Didn't help Hank Sitton, but he's saying how much you got there. Card dealer trying to sell a lemon here.
$200.
Well, Hank Sitton is going to bet 200,000 here, right out front, and John Davidson quickly going all in with 3 9s. Says if you can beat this, good luck to you.
And that is discouraging if you're Hank.
Well, Hank tried to make a move here on this pot. He was trying to represent that he had 3 9s, perhaps, when in fact his opponent hit the 3rd 9.
Well, you're right about this. This is close to a 700,000 re-raise. He's just saving face at this point, but you do that sometimes because you want to have the impression that you only played solid hands, you weren't monkeying around. You don't want to give that away for later in the game. So sometimes it is worth it to make this move, to pretend like you were actually considering calling.
Well, it would take nearly all his chips to make this call. You just can't imagine he would do it with a gut shot straight draw. But
no.
This is.
And he is going to finally go out.
Well, Hank does lay it down. But what about this John Davidson guy? Raising it up front with a 9-7. Can't blame him for that. But betting with bottom pair, then catching the 3rd 9 on the turn, moves all in and takes that pot down.
Well, you're right about that. His instincts have been impeccable tonight.
So John Davidson taking down that pot and vaulting into the chip lead here.
All right, the cards are flying once again. Action's going to be on David Robbins. He has Jack 9 offsuit, quickly folds his hand. And now the card dealer, Hank Sitton, with a King 7 of hearts with the button.
Well, Hank in fourth place right now with just 800,000 in chips. Opts to lay this hand down.
Yeah, doesn't play it. Kind of surprising. Round to Bill Edler, and then he's got his ace-10 again.
Well, he limps in and calls with it this time.
And John Davidson with Jack-7 of diamonds. Not going to raise. Here we go.
Oh, a nice flop for both of these guys. Bill Edler has flopped top pair. John Davidson has flopped the flush draw. Bill checks, and John bets 50,000 on the flush draw.
Yes, he does. Bill Edler disguising his hand nicely by not raising before the flop with ace-10. Hits on the flop. Just checked it.
Looks like he's going to check raise here, Vince. Going to test the water, as we say. And he does raise it. 100,000 more.
Yes, he does. John Davidson's going to call. He's not going anywhere. Just doesn't believe this guy has an ace because he didn't raise before the flop. Now a 10 on the turn. Only getting better and better for Bill. Hitting 2 pair.
Well, Bill Edler now has the top 2 pair. His opponent has a flush draw and a gut shot straight draw. An 8 would give him a straight. A diamond would give him a flush. But action back on Bill Edler. He's going to bet here, Vince, but not a big bet. 120,000 into a $400,000 pot.
But John Davidson says all, and he gets quickly called down by Bill Edler, who's been setting him up.
Folks, these are the 2 chip leaders. This is far and away the largest pot we've had tonight. Over $3 million in this pot. Bill Edler very satisfied with his position right now. He's about a 3-to-1 favorite to win this pot and take a massive chip lead at this final table.
Good luck.
Good luck to you, man.
Well, it was just the way that Bill played it. Didn't force it before the flop with his ace-10. Played it slow. Therefore, Mr. Davidson thought there's no chance this guy has a big hand right now. I think I can bomb him out of here. He was dead wrong, and right now he's a big dog going into the last card.
Well, he's looking for a diamond or an 8. That's what he's going to have to win this pot and eliminate Bill Edler from this tournament. John gambling with a drawing hand here. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Here is the river card.
It's a 5 of clubs, so Bill Edler is going to take down this pot.
And it's very close to knocking out our air traffic controller. They're going to have to count the chips.
So the tournament pro from Las Vegas, Bill Edler, doubling up here to take a commanding chip lead at this final table.
John is just going to hang in there by dental floss.
Vince, John didn't make a bad move there.
No.
It was time to gamble.
And as we've seen all night long, fortunes change quickly. Here, John Davidson just had the chip lead before that last pot. Now he doesn't have enough for the big blind.
4 players still remain at the Gulf Coast Poker Championship, and we're coming back with more action on the WPT.
Hey, good morning.
AbsolutePoker.com. You in?
Are you good enough to be a WPT champion?
Log on to WPT on GSN.com.
Welcome back to the WPT. The Gulf Coast Poker Championship continues from Biloxi, Mississippi, right here on the Gulf.
So with 4 players left, Bill Edler is the big chip leader with just over $3 million. David Robbins is next, sitting on $1.3 million. Hank Sitton has just under $800,000, and John Davidson is hanging on by a thread with only $40,000.
And Vegas Bill now looking down at an ace-4. First to act, Vegas Bill is going to raise it up, making it $110,000 to go.
Well, he's going to put relentless pressure on these guys now.
And there go the last chips of John Davidson. He's got ace-deuce. And there will be a side pot if David the Robber Robbins calls. And yes, he has called with Queen-Jack.
Hank, the only one not in the pot, he throws his hand away. John Davidson all in for a small portion of it. The other 2 players can continue betting on the side. They're the 2 remaining chip leaders now.
John Davidson singing the Biloxi Blues at this point. Maybe he can come back with this flop. Let's take a look.
Now flop comes 9, 9, 8.
Bill quickly checking. The side guys are both going to check. A 4 on the turn, giving Bill 4s and 9s.
Well, Bill out in front with the 2 4s, but still checks. A king comes off.
Now there is a side pot, but they're going to both check it down.
So Bill Edler is going to take this pot down, and that's going to do it for John Davidson. He is going to go out in 4th place. So a nice tournament for John Davidson. Got in this tournament on a $500 satellite. So a nice ovation for John Davidson, the guy who comes to Beau Rivage nearly every weekend to play poker. He is going to be out in 4th place tonight.
Well, he's going to come home with $168,000 back to Pensacola Beach, Florida. John Davidson has to say goodbye. We are down to 3-handed poker, and the antes have not gone up, but the blinds have. 30 and 60,000.
Our current chip leader is Las Vegas Pro Tournament Specialist Bill Edler. He's sitting on about $3.4 million. The other two players have around $900,000.
This time, Bill Edler with a king 3 of hearts with the button. And it looks like he's going to get aggressive with it. Makes a raise.
Going to make it $175,000 to go here.
Salesman David Robbins going away.
75, sir.
The car man, Hank Sitton.
Well, he looks down at a Queen Jack. It cost him another $115,000 to make the call. He's got not quite $900,000 in front of him, but he is going to make the call here. So Hank with the Queen Jack, Bill with the King 3. Everybody anxiously awaiting the flop, and here it comes. Oh, it's come ace, king, 10. Bingo, bango, bongo. Hank Sitton has flopped the nuts, the best hand possible, and he checks it.
And Bill has kings, of course, but he's going to check behind him.
Wow, what a check by Bill Edler right there.
Not going to bite there. Here comes the turn card, 5 of spades. Helps neither player.
Again, Hank checks.
Will you give me a free card, please?
And again, Bill checks right behind him. It's like his radar is out. He senses that Hank is trying to trap him here. A deuce of hearts on the river. And now Hank moves all in. So he checked twice and then moved all in. He's going to take down this pot as Bill Edler quickly gets away from the 2 kings. But Vince, you just had to feel like Bill Edler sensed that he was getting trapped right there. Didn't lose another quarter there after flopping 2 kings. And that's with raising before the flop.
Why didn't you call me there, Bill? You didn't have any piece of that?
I had a piece of that.
Just not the nuts, huh?
Well, that was just a great example of a fantastic defense. And I'll tell you something, in poker, that is just as important as a good offense. How to save money, get out cheap. Back on the chip leader, Vegas, Bill Edler. He's got $3.2 million in front of him. Would love to take this WPT title. This time he's got a 7-5 in his hand.
See him getting out some raisin chips here with just a 7 high.
140.
He has opened up his game. He's going to move it up to 140,000 to go. Now David Robbins right behind him.
All in.
Says all in with a 10-6 of hearts.
This could be interesting.
Hank Sitton has folded.
Well, he just feels Bill's going to try to push him around like a mop here because he's got the chip lead. He's got position. He's not going to stand for it. And he makes a great move here to go all in.
And what a time to go all in. 10-6 of hearts. He is back to being the Robber Robbins, trying to steal this pot.
Well, Bill Edler trying to size up the pot here. And he's got to recognize he's only going to be getting 6 or 7 to 5 odds on his money. Yes, things are going well and he's on a roll. But in terms of the right price and the probability of the math involved, he really should lay this hand down.
Well, I think it's sort of automatic, as he's saying. I mean, he's saving face here a little bit, trying to pretend like he's not going to be stealing pots from the button from now on. We know better.
Meantime, David Robbins is hoping that he goes away, that's for sure. The guy from Fortson, Georgia, holding his breath right now.
Well, he's in sales, and this time he's going to try to sell the bluff. Will he do it? And it looks like he will.
Well, Bill Edler does lay the hand down. So David feeling good about that play right now. And Vince, everybody at home on their couch is saying the same thing. Geez, what a great play he just made. Now, if by chance Bill Edler had something like a king 3 and decided to make the call, they'd all be saying, what an idiot. Why would he bluff right there? It's such a fine line in poker to whether you're considered a genius by bluffing or a moron because somebody called you.
Not going to be easy for Vegas Bill. He's got tough competition. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more exciting action from the WPT in just a moment. Welcome back to the Gulf Coast Poker Championship from Biloxi, Mississippi. And right now, Bill Edler from Vegas out in front with about $2.5 million. Hank Sitton, the card dealer, with about $1.4, and David Robbins in third chip position with $1.2 million.
Well, Vince, it appears this packed house here is having a ball watching this final table. But it seems like all 3 players who are playing for this big buck are in agony right now.
They are concentrated. They're intense.
David Robbins going out.
Now the card dealer, Hank Sitton. He's got 44 midlife crises.
200.
And he's going to raise. Going to make it 200,000 to go. Into the Vegas Pro, Bill Edler, who's got ace-8.
That part of the dead man's hand there. The dead man's hand is 2 pair aces and 8s. The hand that Wild Bill Hickok held when he got shot in the back decades ago. Hank sitting out of the small blind made it 200,000 to go. Actions on our chip leader, Bill Edler.
Well, he gives Hank Sitton a lot of credit.
I raised 4 more.
Wow, look at this.
Wow, Bill Edler made it 600,000 to go, and without even taking a breath, Hank Sitton said, I'm all in.
Beat him to the pot with that all-in.
And that's a huge all-in, Vince. Over $1.4 million. So if Bill Edler opts to play this pot and loses it, he will have gone from a massive chip leader to 3rd place in chips.
Well, he hasn't even called yet.
I said if he makes that call, but...
He's in for 600. He's saying, wait, can I take that back? Didn't quite mean 600.
How much more?
How much more? A lot. 855 to be exact. But you talk about conviction. That is what Hank Sitton had on this hand. Said it with such strength. Look at him. He is a rock.
Well, there's over $2 million in the pot. So Bill may figure he's getting the right price to make this call when you have an ace in your hand. The only way you're a bigger underdog than this in terms of mathematical probabilities to win the pot is if your opponent specifically has 2 aces.
No fun calling with the worst hand for this much. But I must. I call.
Got 2 overs?
He thinks he's getting the right price to do it, and indeed he is. So win or lose this pot, he has made the correct decision to make this call in terms of pot odds.
Good luck.
Well, Hank's sitting on his feet. He's not sitting here, Vince, because his tournament life is on the line. If he loses this pot, he's heading back to South Carolina in 3rd place. Here comes a flop. Well, flop comes queen 10-6. So far, Hank out in front with the 2 4s. Bill must catch an ace or an 8 or 2 running cards to make a straight, or the board could pair twice. But something good's got to happen for him to win this pot.
Pair the board, create some drama.
Well, the board pairs queens, so that gives Bill a few more outs to win the pot. He can win the pot with an ace or an 8, or a 10 or a 6.
Will the chip leader give back some chips here? Okay, here is the river card. It's a king of hearts.
So there you go, some emotion by Hank Sitton, and why not?
And just like that, a lousy pair of 4s is going to double up and put a big dent into our chip leader.
The car salesman, Hank Sitton from Greenville, South Carolina, is now the chip leader in this 3-handed battle. He's got nearly $3 million in chips. David Robbins with about $1.2 million, and Bill Edler now in 3rd place with $1.1 million.
Happy days are here for Hank Sitton, the chip leader, family man, very tight poker player, tight solid, I would say, and he is taking it to him right now.
Well, the action's going to be on Hank here. He's going to have to take a break from stacking chips to look at his hand. It's always such fun to stack chips, Vince. You just don't mind taking your time.
One of the little pleasures of life. All right, Hank does have a king 8 this time.
Well, it's a hand many guys would raise with on the button, especially if they were chip leader. But Hank is opting to throw it away and going back to stacking his chips.
Probably pretty wise, because right behind him, Vegas Bill here, pair of 9s wired.
And he just limps in with the 2 9s, trying to camouflage the strength of his hand. And David with a 6-3 says, well, go ahead and give us a flop. A flop comes queen 10-6. Bill checks the 2 9s.
David got a piece of that pair of 6s.
And he checks them.
Yep.
And now a 3 comes on the turn.
Oh.
David now has the best hand with 2 pair. And here comes Bill, now betting $100,000 at the pot.
Yeah, he's testing the waters. And now Robin Robbins with 2 pair.
This could be stupid.
And look at this. Anytime a guy says this is going to be stupid, means usually that it's not stupid. He knows he's in front. He's trying to pretend like he's going to make a stupid move, but usually weak means strong, strong means weak. That's a tell right there.
Well, let's see what he's going to do with the 2 pair here. David is well a composed player as I've seen in a long time out here on the World Poker Tour, and the guy's only been playing poker for just over a year. This is his first WPT event. You never know it watching this guy play. Man, he wants to know how much is in the pot out there. Well, he's adding it up here, Vince.
All in.
And he's adding it up in such a way that Bill can hear it, and he goes all in, emphasizing he's making an overbet here to try to lure him in the pot, but it doesn't work. No. Bill folds the 2 9s.
He ejects so fast and make your head spin.
Well, apparently Bill Edler's timing has gone a little astray here. He lost the race a moment ago where he doubled up Hank Sitton. This time he tried to just limp in with his 9s, and by not betting on the flop, he gave his opponent a free card.
All in.
That is true, and that free card cost him, giving David Robbins 2 pair, and of course the win. But like I said before, when David Robbins says this is a stupid move, people are usually trying to tell you the opposite, what they have. He was pretty strong. Two pairs very strong in that situation at that time. Listen to the tell to the table and you make money. 3 players remain here at the Gulf Coast Poker Championships from Mississippi, and we're coming back for more action in just a moment.
Well, I don't know if I'd say I feel good coming back from 2 chips. I'm not proud of that. I'm more sheepish than anything. It's not an accomplishment to do it. It just means I was lucky. I had 8-3 3-handed and beat the other 2 hands when I made a pair of 3s. I had ace-deuce 4-handed, made a pair of aces. And then I had ace-6 and cracked ace-queen with it when I made a pair of 6s. None of that was good play. That just got me from back in the ball game. From then on, I'm pretty proud of the way I played.
Welcome back to the Beau Rivage Resort and Casino, where we are only moments away from crowning the newest WPT champion.
Welcome back to the Gulf Coast Poker Championship from Biloxi, Mississippi, where 2 good old boys from the South are taking it to the Vegas pro, Bill Edler.
Our chip leader, Hank Sitton, with about $2.9 million. David Robbins with about $1.3. And the Las Vegas pro in 3rd place right now. Let's see if he can get it back.
And Bill from Vegas has picked up a big hand, pair of kings wired up.
Well, has he ever? I'm sure he's happy to get him right now, the way the last couple hands have gone for him.
What to do with this monster? No, he is just going to call it.
He's just going to call here. He's taking a page out of David Robbins' slow play book, limping in with the 2 kings.
When he has his good hands, he plays them slow. His junk hands, he plays fast. David Robbins with 6-3, also going to call. And Hank Sitton with jack, 6 of diamonds.
He says give us a flop. So 3-way action here.
The family back together again. Here's the flop, 6-5-5.
With 2 clubs. Well, David has got 2 6s. He's going to check them.
But Hank Sitton also with 6s, making a bet, $75,000 into Bill, who slow played his kings. How slow is he going to go now?
Well, he's just calling here. Does not raise with the 2 kings.
David Robbins also calling with his 6s and 5s.
Well, the caution light's going up for Bill Edler now.
Here comes the turn. Queen of clubs on the turn.
And now they're going up even more so.
David Robbins quickly checking, and now card dealer Hank not going to bet this time.
It's around to Bill. Now he does have the king of clubs in his hand where he's got a flush draw, but remember, he let both blinds in for nothing. So very possibly one of them could have a 5 in their hand. He's going to check the 2 kings, takes a conservative route, just a little fearful with 2 players in the pot with that board.
9 of hearts on the river. David checks.
250.
The car man, he's going to bet $250 million with his 6s and 5s.
Yeah, I'm a little puzzled by this bet. And I say that because if it gets called, he's going to be beat. You would just think he'd just check down 2 pair and hope it stood up here. But let's see what happens. Bill Edler has got to feel like he's in an awkward position right here, especially because David's behind him and yet to act also. He's also in the pot.
Like,
right now, Bill Edler probably talking to himself. Why did I slow play these 2 kings? Why didn't I raise it before the flop? Now what do I do?
Well, could Bill possibly fold kings here?
Well, Bill does make the call.
I was calling if you hadn't.
Well, David said he was going to call with his 2 6s if you didn't call.
Guess I'm beat.
Well, indeed he is beat. And Bill Edler's going to breathe a sigh of relief.
All I got is to
when Hank turns up 2 6s, he's going to take down this pot with 2 kings.
So a cautious route by Bill Edler. That's what happens when you slow play sometimes. You put yourself in a predicament. You don't know where you are, but you're looking for the big sting. Doesn't get the big sting there, but he gets a nice pot. Well, some defensive poker by Bill Edler working out for him once again here tonight.
Well, he didn't get hurt by slow playing the 2 kings there, but he did have to make a crying call on the river to win the pot.
Bill Edler now with the button. He's got a 10-8 of clubs, and he is going to limp in with it, not going to raise.
Well, looks to me like he's trying to play small ball now, Vance. Keep the pot small. Figures that'll give him a better chance to win.
David the Robber Robbins with King 3 this time. Also going to call, and Hank 6-5. We're going to see another family pot. Here's the flop.
All 3 players in there. Here comes the flop. It's come Queen 10-3. Action's on David. He's going to check. He's got bottom pair.
Hank's sitting right behind him, also going to check with nothing. And Bill with 10s, he's going to check.
Well, takes the conservative route here with second pair. Here comes the turn card. 4 clubs comes off of there.
David Robbins quickly checks it. And now an open-ended straight draw for Hank Sitton. He is going to bet $125,000 by the car salesman.
Well, action's over to Bill Edler. He's got 2 10s and a flush draw. See what he's going to do here.
Raise.
He says raise.
Yeah.
He is going to raise with this hand.
You want to wait till I put the amount up?
He glances over at David because David folded his hand before he put the amount of the raise in. Should wait till your opponent completes the action before you muck your hand, but it could make the difference on the size of the raise you make if you know the guy's getting out or not behind you.
That is true. It's $375,000 to go. It's an additional $250, and now it's back on Hank.
You think this is a pretty easy laydown right here with just a 6 high.
Call.
But look at this. Hank is going to make the call here, Vince. He is going to gamble. Unless he's looking to try to steal this pot on the river, I am puzzled by this call.
Well, he's got an open-ended straight draw, Mike. I don't mind that call down. Here's the river card. He gets a piece of it, a pair of sixes. Didn't get it straight.
$250 again.
And he's going to reach for chips. He's going to bet $250,000 into a pot that's got over $900,000 in it. Sort of a defensive bet, just holding his breath to see if 2 sixes are good.
And Bill Edler, who did not hit the flush, but he raised on the turn. He's a little puzzled by this. He's saying, what does this guy have to bet into me after I just raised?
Bill Edler apparently rethinking how the betting went, how everything happened in this pot. He thought he was making a value bet on the turn by raising $250,000. Now he's not so sure when his opponent let out on the river. Well, tough decision for Bill Edler here.
Certainly is, and he is taking his time. I've seen unemployment lines move faster than this man. But look at this. He is making the call.
Oh, what a call by Bill Edler. He is going to win this pot with 2 10s. He got the value raise in on the turn and the value call at the river. That is playing the game right there. Well, in 2 hands, the Vegas pro has come off the mat and back into the chip lead. And Vince, the 2 amateurs, the 2 Southern gamblers, they now know they're in the poker fight of their lives.
The Gulf Coast Poker Championship will continue. Stay with us on the WPT.
You can check out World Poker Tour player stats for yourself at WPT on GSN.com.
We are back at the Gulf Coast Poker Championships from Biloxi, Mississippi, where 3 players remain going after a WPT title. And right now, Bill Edler, man, that's only been playing professional poker for 2 years out of Vegas, is our chip leader.
Well, right now, Gavin's gone down to talk to Layla. Let's see what he's got to say.
Hey, guys, I'm here with Gavin Smith. Now, Gavin, when we were speaking to Bill, he was saying how happy he is you are here and what a difference it's made on him. And what advice did you give to him going into this?
I lasted 45 minutes in this tournament. He's at the final table. I don't think I'm the guy that should be giving him any advice. I'm going to take some. But I think he's right now going to pick up the aggression. He's going to play pretty fast. And it gets hard at this stage to move up. You know, you get very nervous. And I think Bill's being more experienced is probably going to take advantage of that.
Thank you so much, Gavin.
Yeah.
Great talking to you.
But he's up against 2 very tough, good old boys from down south. Let's watch the action. It's on Bill, and with Queen Jack, he has called it.
Well, again, he limps in on the button.
David Robbins also calling in the small blind, and Hank Sitton is not going to raise with his 6-5. Here we go again.
Well, flop has come 9-8 deuce with 2 diamonds. David Robbins has flopped an open-end straight draw, and he's checked it. Hank has checked a gut shot straight draw. Bill Edler's going to bet his gut shot straight draw. 10 would give him a straight. That's $125,000 here.
Into the robber, David Robbins from Fortson, Georgia.
Well, he's going to make the call with the open-end straight draw. Hank goes away, and David better hope a 10 doesn't come off of there. It could be taps for him.
Well, a 6 does.
Well, that's a nice card for him. It gives him the best hand now.
Well, David is checked, and Bill right behind him, not biting. He's checked as well. River card, a 10.
Both players have made a straight. Bill Edler with the nut straight, the best hand possible right now.
Oh, and David Robbins digging himself in a ditch here. 125 he bets. Bill Edler with the absolute nuts in his hand, the cinch.
Well, you know he's going to raise it, Vince. Just a matter of how much he raised it. He wants to raise enough where he can get called here.
Raise.
Well, he's going to bet $275,000 here.
That's only $150,000. Please call me, raise.
Well, David Robbins has a straight himself.
Jack Queen, Jack 7.
He's trying to figure this out. Can the guy have a Jack 7 or a Jack Queen here? Well, that's the only 2 hands that can beat him, and he knows that. It's going to cost him $150,000 to call here. I don't see how it's possible you can lay it down.
Angel, cover your eyes. This is getting ugly.
Call.
He's going to make the call for $150,000 more, and Bill Edler shows him the nuts.
David shows him the 10-high straight, and right now Bill's saying to himself, geez, I should have bet a little more.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. You have the nuts. You know if the guy doesn't have any kind of a straight, he's definitely not going to call. But you want to get the right amount. But you don't want to take chances. You want that last 150. You want the exact amount that you can get. Don't over-raise them, otherwise you're going to lose them.
Well, I disagree, Vince. I think you should raise at least $300,000 on the river right there. The guy can't call you unless he's got a straight, but if he has a straight, it's going to be very difficult for him to lay it down.
Well, you're right. There's always an amount that you want to get. Bill thought it was 150. He was happy with that. He's going to take the pot. All right, and the blinds are going up in Biloxi. Antes are going to be $10,000, and the blinds are going to be $40,000 and $80,000. Action is going to be on the man from Fortson, Georgia, David Robbins, the robber. He's got an ace-9 this time, but you know what? He's going to play it slow, just calling it.
Well, Hank's sitting in the small blind with ace-7 of spade.
All right.
He's going to raise it. He makes it $200,000 to go.
To Bill. Bill, who's played so many pots tonight, has a jack-8. And he won't play this one, so back on David Robbins.
To David, certainly getting a big price to make this call. Now, here's a case where Hank made a small enough raise to price his opponent in. There's no hand he can throw away for that kind of price, especially when he's in position.
And David Robbins not going anywhere.
So David with the ace-9, Hank with the ace-7. Here comes the flop.
Well, when the flop is ace, king, jack, they both hit aces.
I'm all in.
And just like that, Hank sitting says all in. That is a $710,000 bet.
David Robbins also has 2 aces, but
why would you do that?
He's fearful his opponent has got 2 aces with a king, queen, jack, or a 10 in his hand.
Well, we know, of course, David Robbins has the bigger kicker at this point.
Ace with a weak kicker.
The better hand, he's pipping him out. Will he make the right decision? Well, his wife, Angel, being tortured there on the sidelines. Just praying that her man does the right thing. We know, of course, he is out in front. He has the better kicker at this point. What a great call this would be.
He's done it. He's made the call.
Yep, and it's the right one.
He is doing it, and he is going to love it when Hank turns up his hand. Look at him. He knows he's got the best hand now. Let's see if it'll stand up for him.
Ace-7 versus ace-9. Right now, David Robbins has the best hand.
Hank is going to need a 7 to win the pot. He can get lucky and tie the pot.
Okay, here comes the turn card. It's a 4 diamonds. Not good for Hank sitting.
Well, David Robbins, unlucky earlier at this final table. He's looking for any baby card right now. It doesn't pair the board.
As the car man run out of gas, finally we will see. Here comes the river card.
Wow. It's a deuce.
Yep.
So there you go. David Robbins made the tough call. His hand stood up.
So the car man, Hank sitting, finally blowing a tire.
Well, Vince, you can't vault Hank for playing that hand like he did. I'd have moved all in, too, with the 2 aces.
That is right. A fine gentleman from Greenville, South Carolina.
That was tough.
Hank sitting, picking up $216,000. But the car salesman has kicked his last tire here tonight. He is out in 3rd place. We are down to 2.
Thank you. You too.
Well, as is the custom on the World Poker Tour, we get down to heads-up play. We have our money presentation, and out come the Beau Rivage beauties.
Oh, yeah, look at that. The bricks are being thrown down on the table. Bricks of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Winner's going to take home $800,000, and of course, the beautiful bracelet for the WPT champion.
Well, there it is, folks. The cash, the bracelet, the title. It's all up for grabs. Who's going to take it there?
I don't know. Will it be the good old boy from down south, or will it be the Las Vegas slickster?
It's all on the line right here.
Stay tuned. We're coming back with the conclusion, the heads-up action, in just a moment.
Hello, Mr. Cunningham. Alan, it's a big pot out there, buddy. I'm all in. Don't be scared.
I call.
Only a donkey would make that call.
We play at FullTiltPoker.com.
Watch more exciting hands from the WPT only at WPT on GSN.com.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. We're down to heads-up play in the inaugural Gulf Coast Poker Championship. We've got an amateur player from Georgia, David Robbins. He's our chip leader with $3.3 million in chips. He's up against a Las Vegas professional player, Bill Edler.
Bill sitting on $1.8 million in chips.
And right now, we've got an upset in the making. David, the Robber Robbins, he's going up to talk to Layla.
You are the quiet one in the corner. I don't think anyone suspected you to be such a strong player, and here you've come up, and now it's you and Bill Edler, who has been so aggressive in this game. What would you say has been the most surprising thing for you being here?
I mean, really the level of play, it seems like everybody's on top of it. Not many people make mistakes, and if they do make a mistake, you know, they get caught or they get burnt.
Usually at our final table, there's some friendly banter going on. You guys are sitting there silent. You know, what's up with that?
My wife says I talk too much. I mean, every time I say something, I get in trouble. I put my foot in my mouth, and so I figure I just shut up and play cards.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Vince, he just plays home game poker for the most part. All his home game buddies pulling for him tonight, that's for sure.
All right, well, the cards have been dealt. It's on Bill Edler with the button, and look at this. He has picked up a tremendous hand, pair of kings. Can't do much better than that.
Okay. Well, Vince, he's just going to limp in and call on the button. And quickly, David says, well, go ahead and give us a flop then.
Oh, but of course, David with 7-5. Here's the flop.
And flop comes queen, deuce, 3.
David checking this.
Well, Bill's betting 100,000 here. He's hoping that David would raise him, but David mucks his hand, and it's a little frustrating, Vince. Even though you win the pot, when you just pick up blinds and antes, when you hold 2 kings, it's frustrating. You want to get action with those hands. Bill got none.
Well, I tell you something. It's tough to trap a Southerner in the South. Mr. Bill will have to conjure up another way.
So Bill Edler takes down that pot, but wins the minimum possible with those 2 kings. And I'm sure he recognizes that he's going to have to maintain patience, take his time, because he's got to recognize David Robbins is just not going to give away any chips when he's the chip leader here. You're not going to expect him to bluff his money off as the chip leader.
Well, perhaps you're right. David Robbins, though, very impressive. And by the way, he has got an angel by his side. That is his wife, who is sweating her man all the way. She should be proud. Action's going to be on David Robbins, this time with a 7-6. Going to limp in.
Well, he limps in and calls on the button. Over to Bill Edler now. Bill peeks down at a 10-8 offsuit.
Equally bad hand, but he says all in with this.
He says all in, so on back-to-back hands, we've seen Bill Edler limp in with 2 kings and move all in with 10-8.
Yeah, David quickly folding his hand, and what happened to all that patient stuff of Bill Edler? He's just going to mix up his game, it appears.
Well, his poker instincts told him that David didn't have that strong a hand because he limped in on the button. It didn't matter what cards he held. He figured if he made a big bet, he could take that pot down. That was exactly the case. Bill trying to capture his first WPT title. Like his buddy you see right there, Gavin Smith, a former WPT Player of the Year. Let's see if he can do it.
Bill is very impressive. He's cashed 7 times in WPT events, went to law school, said, I'm going to skip the bar, I'm going into poker. And tonight he has a chance of taking down a WPT title.
Well, he's got far more experience in big-time poker tournaments than his opponent, David Robbins. But David playing very well here tonight.
Certainly is, and it's on him. He is called with queen, 8 of hearts, not going to raise. And Bill Edler with a 10-5. Content to see the flop. Here it is.
Oh, and here it is, all right. Ren 10-10. He's flopped 30 miles, 3 10s, and he checks it.
Yeah. David right behind him, not biting, but now he's hit queens.
David flopped a gut shot straight draw and checked it. And here comes Bill. His opponent has just made 2 queens, and he's going to make the call.
Big hand developing, river card coming up.
As the cards lie, David's going to have to catch a queen or a jack on the river. That doesn't happen. A deuce comes off. So Bill Edler out in front with the 3 10s. Action's on him.
I'm all in.
Wow, all in, he says, Vince.
So he does an overbet here. Puts it all on the line.
Well, a vast overbet. There's only $480,000 in the pot, yet Bill bets over $2 million right here.
How much is it?
Well, he wants to know how many chips that Bill's got. He's staring over at Bill. What he's wondering about is why would this guy make this big of an overbet? If he really had a big hand, wouldn't he make a smaller bet? Wouldn't he want me to pay him off? Is this guy bluffing?
Sometimes a player does this, does the overbet. That makes it look suspicious, so he gets the call. That's exactly what Bill's doing right now. He doesn't want just 600,000 to 800,000 that he know he might get. He wants the whole enchilada. He wants to look like he's weak by looking strong. That's exactly what he's doing. Now will David Robbins catch on? Now look at Bill. He is staring him down like I'm strong. He is strong this time. Great reverse psychology.
Well, David Robbins faced with a very tough decision here. So far tonight, he's made nearly every correct decision, but right now, his tournament life virtually on the line.
Well, I tell you something, he has made some tremendous moves, playing a very high-level game. I mean, just face it, he's a mortgage broker, not a professional player, only been playing a year and a half, and he's been battling up against the very best. And I tell you something, a lot of pros would make this call. It's such a suspicious overbet.
20.
In the meantime, Gavin Smith, not sure whether he wants David to call or not. You can hear a pin drop in this place right now. A huge decision for David Robbins right now. If he folds his hand here, he'll still be the chip leader in heads-up play. If he makes the call, he's going to be very short on chips. But because of the vast overbet by Bill Edler here, very puzzling, and you can sense he wants to make the call, Vince. Well, he's going to lay it down.
What a nice fold.
At several times tonight, he's made key decisions in terms of his success at this final table. Well, Bill Edler did everything he could to try to get that guy to pay him off there. And right now, Bill's probably saying to himself, maybe I should have just bet $500,000 or $600,000 instead of $2 million. The guy might have paid me off.
Well, I tell you something, so many professionals would have made that call. I give the credit to the robber. David Robbins makes a great lay down. He's still in the hunt. Stay tuned. 2 players remain, and we're coming right back.
Welcome back to the Beau Rivage. We are in the middle of heads-up poker between Bill Edler and David Robbins. Let's get back to the table and find out who will be the next WPT champion.
So we got a virtual horse race right now. Bill Edler climbing back up to try to take the chip lead, take this title down.
And David the Robber Robbins, he steals a lot of pots. He's got 2.7. Bill Edler from Vegas with 2.5 million. This time with the button, he has an ace-10 of spades.
Well, that's a nice hand in heads-up play, no doubt about it. And Bill is going to raise it this time. No more limping in here. He bets $300,000.
And David Robbins right behind him with an ace-7 of diamonds. He's going to stick around.
Well, he's going to make the call. So both players with decent starting hands. And here comes a flop. It's come ace, 10, deuce, all clubs.
Unbelievable. Aces and 10s for Bill. David with aces. He has checked it. 3 clubs out there. No one has a club. Now it's on Bill.
Free card, please.
And he is going to check behind it.
Well, 6 of diamonds on the turn.
David Robbins checking quickly. Now it's on Bill. Aces and 10s.
Well, Vance, I'm surprised he checked on the flop with 3 clubs out there. Another club might kill his top 2 pair. See what he does here on the turn.
500,000.
Yep, he's going to bet 500,000.
Well, he bets $500,000 here. That's the way this hand was played. After Bill checked on the flop, a good chance David Robbins thinks his 2 aces are the best hand right now. It's $500,000 to call here. As the cards lie, he's drawn completely dead. There's no card he can catch to win this pot.
Now Bill is going back with the stare, but this time with the hands over his mouth. Going to try a little bit different approach.
The last pose didn't work, so why not try a new one? In the meantime, David Robbins not even looking at him now, just shutting him out, trying to figure out what to do here.
I'm all in.
Wow, he's going all in here. And Bill's quickly called him here. And David Robbins is drawing completely dead. There's no card that can come up for him to win his pot. And Bill Edler has got to love it.
You got me.
He says, you got me. It is over this hand anyway.
What an absolute disaster here for David Robbins. Getting tricked right there. Bill Edler almost going to break him and almost take this title.
Nice hand.
Well, Vince, David Robbins' hobby is fishing. And right there, he fell into this trap. Hook, line, and sinker. He has gone to the bottom of the ocean.
Well, you got to make moves at times. He was tricked there by Bill checking on the flop. Can't blame David for making a move. You want to prevent a guy from catching a club. You made your move, you lost, you pay it off, and now you're in trouble.
Bill Edler takes a whopping chip lead in this heads-up battle. He's got over $5 million in chips. David Robbins down to just over $200,000.
And what a turn of events we're seeing here. Bill Edler now close to this championship title. And don't forget, there's just 2 tables left. He's down to $2,000.
But he's got to close the deal. David is moving all in the dark here.
Yeah.
Well, that is just a disgusting move right now. You're just saying to yourself, look, I just got crippled there. I'm going to take a shot with this. I don't care what my 2 cards are at this point.
Well, David going over to see his wife, Angel, and he's going to need some angels looking over him if he's going to win this tournament from here, no doubt about it.
I don't think he can fold it all.
I sure can't. I call.
And Bill is calling this down, and the cards are going to come up.
Well, Bill Edler out in front with the ace-9. If that hand holds up, Bill Edler will capture his first World Poker Tour title.
Here comes the flop. It's an 8-4-4. No help to David Robbins.
Well, David Robbins is going to have to catch a queen or a 7 or 2 running diamonds to make a flush or 2 running cards to make a straight. Otherwise, this tournament is history.
Oh, that's right. Here comes the turn card.
Well, a jack comes off, so we are down to the river. David Robbins must catch a queen or a 7. Otherwise, this tournament is over.
The Southern gentleman needs a lot of luck right now.
Well, it's on the fingertips of Bill Edler. He is a massive favorite to take down this title. He's just got to dodge a queen or a 7 on the river, and he does it. An ace of diamonds comes off. He's going to win the pot with 2 aces. Well, what can you say about David Robbins? There you see him kissing his wife. What a great week for David Robbins.
Bill Edler is our champion, taking home close to $800,000.
Well, there you go. Hugs all around from former WPT Player of the Year Gavin Smith. Bill Edler has done it, Vince. He's made the greatest comeback in the history of the World Poker Tour to take this title. Champion of the inaugural Gulf Coast Poker Championship, Bill Edler. For Vince Van Patten, Layla Cayley, and everyone at the World Poker Tour, I'm Mike Sexton saying thanks for watching. And until next time, may all your cards be live and your pots be monsters.
On the next World Poker Tour,
the king of junk cards is back.
Will the great Gus Hansen reign in Spain?
You're going to raise half his stack?
I'm all in.
Watch the WPT Spanish Championship next Monday, 9 p.m. 8 Central on GSN.